Dolls, they're supposed to be symbols of innocence, childhood, companions, and cherished keepsakes. But what happens when these seemingly harmless playthings become vessels of something sinister, conduits to the realm of the unknown? This is the chilling story of Robert the Doll, a seemingly ordinary, straw-filled figure that has haunted the imaginations of Key West residents and visitors for over a century. Robert's story is not for the faint of heart. It's a tale whispered in hushed tones, a chilling blend of folklore, eyewitness accounts, and unexplained phenomena. Some dismiss it as mere superstition, but others, those who have felt the icy grip of fear in Robert's presence, know that something evil lurks within the doll's glassy eyes. Join us now as we delve into the unsettling history of Robert the Doll, exploring the stories, the evidence, and the enduring mystery that continues to captivate and terrify. Prepare yourself, for what you are about to encounter may shake your skepticism and leave you questioning the very nature of reality itself. Robert's story begins in the late 19th century, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. The tale of Robert the Doll is one that has fascinated and terrified people for over a century, and it all starts with a seemingly innocent gift. The year was 1904, and the setting was the idyllic island paradise of Key West, Florida. Known for its beautiful beaches and vibrant community, Key West was a place where the wealthy came to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. A wealthy and prominent family, the Ottos, welcomed a new addition to their household, a young boy named Robert Eugene Otto. The Ottos were well respected in the community, known for their lavish parties and opulent lifestyle. Little did they know that their lives were about to take a dark and unsettling turn. The arrival of a new servant in their household would set off a chain of events that would haunt them for generations. As was customary for affluent families of the era, the Otto family employed a household staff, which included a Bahamian servant girl. This young woman, whose name has been lost to history, was responsible for many of the household chores and took care of young Robert. This unnamed woman, skilled in the arts of voodoo and black magic, bore a deep resentment towards the Otto family. Some say she was mistreated by the Ottos, while others believe she was simply envious of their wealth and status. Some whisper that she cursed the family, channeling her rage and bitterness into a sinister gift, a handmade doll fashioned from straw, cloth, and something far more sinister. The doll was unlike any other, with an eerie presence that seemed to emanate from its very core. The doll, standing nearly 3 feet tall, was given to young Robert as a birthday present. At first glance, it seemed like a thoughtful gift, a new toy for a young boy to cherish. It was an instant companion for the lonely boy, who named his new friend Robert after himself. The two were inseparable, with Robert the boy and Robert the doll spending countless hours together. Dressed in a sailor suit, the doll became a constant fixture in the Otto household, a silent witness to the family's daily life. It was always there, watching, waiting, and seemingly absorbing the energy around it. But something was different about this doll. It wasn't just a child's plaything, it was something more. The family began to notice strange occurrences, things that couldn't be easily explained. It wasn't just a child's plaything, it was something more. The doll seemed to have a life of its own, moving from room to room and even changing expressions. The once happy household was now filled with fear and uncertainty, as the true nature of Robert the doll began to reveal itself. At first, the strange occurrences in the Otto household were subtle, easily dismissed as a child's overactive imagination. The family lived in a grand old house filled with antique furniture and heirlooms, a place where shadows seemed to dance in the corners and the air was thick with history. Robert, the boy, would often be heard talking to his doll, engaging in animated conversations that sent chills down the spines of the household staff. The doll, also named Robert, was a life-sized figure dressed in a sailor suit with a face that seemed almost too lifelike. But when questioned, young Robert would insist that it was the doll Robert who was speaking, not him. He would describe in vivid detail how the doll would whisper secrets to him, secrets that no child should know. As time went on, the incidents grew more frequent and more disturbing. The once quiet and serene household was now a place of unease and fear. The family began to notice cold spots in certain rooms, and the feeling of being watched became almost unbearable. Objects would move mysteriously in the dead of night. Furniture would be overturned and items would disappear only to reappear in the most unexpected places. The sound of footsteps could be heard in empty hallways, and doors would creak open and shut on their own. Disembodied giggles would echo through the halls of the once peaceful home, sending shivers down the spines of anyone who heard them. The laughter was childlike, yet there was something sinister about it, something that made the hair on the back of your neck stand up. The Otto family, initially dismissive of the strange happenings, began to suspect that something was terribly wrong. They could no longer ignore the mounting evidence that something supernatural was at play. The once skeptical family members found themselves questioning their own sanity. Servants reported seeing the doll's expression change, transforming from a blank stare into a menacing glare. The doll's eyes, which once seemed innocent, now appeared to follow them with a malevolent intelligence. Some even claimed to have witnessed the doll moving on its own, its beady eyes following them as they moved about the house. The doll would be found in different positions, as if it had a life of its own, and its presence became a source of dread for everyone in the household. Fear gripped the Otto household, and even the family patriarch, once a staunch skeptic, began to believe that the doll was somehow responsible for the unsettling events. The family sought help from priests and paranormal experts, but the strange occurrences only seemed to intensify. The Otto household, once a place of warmth and love, had become a house of horrors, and the doll, Robert, was at the center of it all. Word of the strange occurrences at the Otto residence spread like wildfire through the close-knit community of Key West. The once peaceful neighborhood was now shrouded in an air of unease and suspicion. People began to avoid walking past the house, and children were warned to stay away. The Otto residence had become a focal point of fear and curiosity. Neighbors whispered tales of the cursed doll, sharing their own unsettling encounters with Robert. Stories of inexplicable events and eerie sightings became the talk of the town. Some neighbors even claimed that their pets refused to go near the Otto house, barking and growling at seemingly nothing. The legend of Robert the doll grew with each retelling, each story more chilling than the last. Some claimed to have seen the doll peering out from the windows of the Otto home, its malevolent gaze sending shivers down their spines. The sight of Robert's lifeless eyes following their every move was enough to make even the bravest souls quicken their pace. It was as if the doll was watching, waiting, and plotting its next move. One chilling account came from a young girl who lived next door to the Ottos. She was known for her vivid imagination, but the terror in her eyes when she recounted her experience was unmistakable. Her parents initially dismissed her story as a nightmare, but the details she provided were too specific to ignore. She swore that she had awakened one night to find Robert the doll standing at the foot of her bed, its beady eyes glowing in the darkness. The doll's presence was so real, so menacing, that she could feel its cold, malevolent energy. She described how she was paralyzed with fear, unable to move or scream until she finally managed to call out for her parents. Terrified, she screamed for her parents, but by the time they arrived, the doll was gone. Her parents searched the room, finding nothing out of the ordinary, but the girl's fear was palpable. They couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The incident left a lasting impact on the family, who began to question the true nature of the doll next door. Another disturbing story came from a group of construction workers who were hired to renovate the Otto home. These men were seasoned professionals, not easily spooked, but what they experienced in that house left them deeply unsettled. They spoke of tools going missing, strange cold spots, and the feeling of being watched. They reported hearing strange noises and feeling an unsettling presence while working in the attic where Robert the doll was often kept. The attic, filled with old, dusty objects, seemed to have a life of its own. The workers described hearing footsteps when no one else was around and seeing shadows move out of the corner of their eyes. One worker claimed to have been pushed down the attic stairs by an unseen force, narrowly escaping serious injury. He was convinced that something or someone had deliberately tried to harm him. The incident was so frightening that he refused to return to the house, leaving the job unfinished. He swore that he had seen the doll's evil grin just before he lost his footing. The image of Robert's sinister expression haunted him long after he left the Otto residence. The workers' stories added to the growing legend of Robert the doll, a legend that continues to send chills down the spines of those who hear it.